Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Dinomorphia deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play to summon out your copy of Rexterm and then back it up with all sorts of awesome trap cards. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name in description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting your request deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Therizia. Therizia is an amazing 3-up in the build because this card has the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually set a Dinomorphia trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap card zone, and if you have 2,000 or less life points, this card gains 500 attack, boosting this card to 2,000 attack points. This card also floats, which is amazing, as if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can actually banish a trap card from the graveyard to special summon a level 4 or lower Dinomorphia monster from your grave, except for the copy of Therizia, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play 2 copies of Diplos. Diplos is really good as a 2-up in the deck, but you really only need 2 copies of this card. This card has the effect that if it's normal or special summon, you can send a Dinomorphia card from your deck to the graveyard, and if your life points are 2,000 or less, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent, which is a pretty cool effect just to do a little bit of burn damage. Also, if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can manage a trap card from the graveyard to special summon a level 4 lower Dinomorphia monster from the graveyard, except for the copy of Diplos, which is great that this card also floats. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Call by the Grave is amazing in this deck as a 1-up just to stop your opponent's hand traps where you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of Card of Demise. Card of Demise is really good in this deck as a 1-up because we play so few monsters in this build. This card just helps out a lot in the grind game to help us draw 3 cards off the top of our deck, which is amazing to help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need, especially since we're only playing 5 main deck monsters, which is insane that this deck functions so well with so few monsters because you have so many awesome trap cards that help you get monsters out to your side of the field. But this card is really good overall in the deck because you play so few main deck monsters that it just helps you draw into more trap cards so you can set them to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good as a 1-up in the deck, just to help us dig into the deck for the exact card that we need. Plus this card is currently at 1, and it's just really good overall. We then also play 3 copies of Pot of Duality. Pot of Duality is really good because usually we're special summoning during our opponent's turn. So this card basically just helps us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need, just like our copy of Prosperity. But this card is just really good overall in the build. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Dinomorphia Brute. Brute is really good as a 1-up in the build, but you only need a single copy of this card. It lets you pay half your life points, destroy a Dinomorphia monster you control, and 1 card your opponent controls, which is a great effect just to help you pop a card on the field. We then play a single copy of Dinomorphia Sonic. Sonic is also really good as a 1-up in the deck. This card is an awesome counter trap that when your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a Dinomorphia monster, pay half your life points to negate the activation if you destroy that card. Then you destroy Dinomorphia monster that you control, which is a pretty cool effect to be able to use. Just basically use this as a spell trap negate. We then play 2 copies of Trap Trick. Trap Trick is amazing in this deck as a 2-up, just to help you basically get more value out of your trap cards and help you get to the exact trap card that you need. You basically activate this card, banish a trap card from your deck, and then set a trap card of the exact same name directly from your deck to your side of the field, which basically turns our 2-ups into 4-ups, which is really cool about this card. We then play 2 copies of Ferret Flames. Ferret Flames is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, especially since the majority of our cards require us to pay half our life points, so we can get some very low life point counts in this deck. This card has the ability if the combined attack of all face-up monsters that your opponent controls is higher than your life points, make your opponent shuffle monsters they control into the deck, their choice, so that their combined attack points remaining of monsters that they control become less than or equal to your life points. So for example, if our opponent has a Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field and has 3,000 attack points and our life points are at 2,500, they have to get rid of the Blue Eyes because it has more than our life points and attack points, which is really interesting. This card is amazing in the deck as a 2-of because it basically just helps us break our opponent's board, and it's a really cool card overall in this deck. We then play 2 copies of Dinomorphia Alert. Dinomorphia Alert is actually a great card in this deck as a 2-of, and I really like this card overall in the deck as a 2-of. You pay half your life point, and then you special summon it to 2 Dinomorphia monsters from your graveyard, whose total levels equal 8 or less, but you cannot declare an attack with them this turn. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest turn except Dinomorphia monsters, which is not that big of a deal, but this card is just really helpful to help you recover your monsters in the graveyard, as it says you can special summon up to 2 Dinomorphia monsters, so you can just bring out 1 high level one, which is really cool about this card. We then play 3 copies of Dinomorphia Domain. Now we're getting into the fusion traps. This card is actually amazing and helps us bring out our fusion monsters to our side of the field, as during the main phase you can pay half your life points to fusion summon a Dinomorphia fusion monster from your X deck using monsters from your hand, deck, or field as material, which is an insane effect to help you go in for the exact fusion play that you need, like a copy of Kentragina. We then play 3 copies of Frenzy. Frenzy is also definitely a 3-of in the build, and just a really powerful card overall in this deck, as this card helps you summon out your copy of Rexturn, which he is on the card, which is super cool, and also has the ability during your opponent's main phase, you can pay half your life points to fusion summon a Dinomorphia monster from your X deck, using only 1 monster from your deck and 1 monster from your X deck as a fusion material, which is such a powerful effect to help you go in for the exact play that you need, and it's just absolutely crazy how easy it is to be able to make your copy of your Rexturn using this card. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is an amazing 3 in the deck just to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. We then play 3 copies of Dominus Impulse. Dominus Impulse is currently one of the most powerful trap cards in the entire game, and this card is really good in the deck, but for a more budget option instead of this card, you could play Ice Dragon's Prison, or you could even play Karma Cannon instead of this card as another budget option instead of playing Dominus Impulse, but those are some really good options that you could play instead of Impulse. But Impulse is really good because it basically stops special summons, which is insane to be able to do, and it's really good in this deck because you play so many different trap cards. We then play 3 copies of Dinomorphia Intact. Intact is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, and it's definitely a 3-of in this build. It just protects your plays, because when a monster effect is activated, while you control a Dinomorphia card, pay half your life points to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. Also, whenever you take battle damage this turn, the damage taken becomes half your current life points at the time. So if your opponent declares an attack with a monster like a Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you have 2 life points, the battle damage you take is 1, because that's half your life points, which is pretty crazy, as you basically can't go out in a game after you activate this card that turn, which is super cool. This card is amazing in the deck as a 3-of, and just helps out a lot overall in the deck just to protect your plays when you're trying to activate cards like Frenzy, so you can go in for your copy of Rexturn. We then play 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment just says no to everything, so we're definitely playing this card as a 3-of in the deck. It's just really good overall, because when a monster would be summoned or a spell or trap card is activated, pay half your life points and negate the summon or activation to destroy that card, which is pretty cool. And with every single one of the Dinomorphia cards, plus your copy of Solemn Judgment, you're basically going to be able to say no to anything, and as long as you have half to pay, you're still in the game. We then play 3 copies of Iron Thunder. Iron Thunder is such a metal name and just really cool overall in this deck, because this card has the ability when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated on the field, pay half your life points, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, then destroy any other card in the same column as the destroyed card was in, and that monster zone or spell and trap card zone, which is insane for this card to be able to do. They basically just do an AoE effect that you blast the card, negate it, and then destroy everything in that column, which is so cool to be able to do, and I absolutely love this card in this deck, and it's just a really powerful card overall, and it's an awesome card that has amazing artwork, and it's just so cool. This card is basically Solemn Judgment 2.0, and it's really, really cool. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Rexturn. Rexturn is absolutely broken in the main deck boss monster, or the extra deck boss monster of the entire deck, to be able to just summon out to your side of the field. This card is the most important monster in the entire deck to be able to summon, as this card is a walking skill drain, one-sided. This card has the ability that your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters they control that have attack greater than or equal to your life points. Meaning if you have 1 life point, your opponent cannot activate monster effects that have a a higher attack point than 1, which is absolutely insane. Basically being a one-sided skill drain. This card also is just absolutely crazy because it has the ability, quick effect, you can pay half your life points, and until the end of this turn, if this card, it has the ability that basically it drops all of your opponent's monsters' attack points down, equal to your life points, which is crazy. So if you have, again, 1 life point, or 2 life points, you half your life points, and then every monster on your opponent's side of the field becomes 1 attack point, because your life points are now 1, which is absolutely crazy. This card also is if it's destroyed by battle by card effect, you can special summon a level 6 or lower Dinomorphia monster from the graveyard, just replacing itself, which is so cool. We then play 3 copies of KingJackGames. KingJackGames is really cool as a 3-of in the deck because it loses attack points equal to the amount of your life points, which is not that big of a deal because you're going to be paying half a lot in this deck, so it's very quickly going to gain its attack points back. And it also has the really quick effect, you pay half your life points and then banish a Dinomorphia normal trap card from the graveyard, and this effect comes that trap's effect when it would be activated, which is a really cool effect. We then played 2 copies of Stealthburgia. Stealthburgia basically makes it so you don't have to pay life points anymore, which is really cool to activate your cards, which is absolutely insane. As this card has the ability while your life points are 2,000 less, you do not have to pay to activate trap cards or Dinomorphia monster effects, which is a pretty cool effect just to be able to use, just in case you need to keep some of your life points. We then play a single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is great because we do play quite a few level 6s in the extra deck, so we can easily make Chaos Angel in this deck, and it's really good to be able to make because if you put dark monsters in this, it cannot be destroyed by battle, which is a really cool ability to be able to use. Plus, it spot removes a card off the field, and you don't even have to use a tuner to make this card. We then play a single copy of Logia. Logia is really good in the deck as a 1-of, just basically say no to any play your opponent's trying to do. We then play a single copy of Tornado Dragon because it pops spells and traps. This card is really good as a 1-of in the build. We play a single copy of Number 60. Number 60 is great to double the attack of a monster, draw 2 and discard a card, or it also has the ability that you can actually bring a monster back from the graveyard, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon is great in the deck as a 1-of to basically just summon just in case you need it, because it is a one-sided skill drain for 3,000 higher attack point monsters, plus it's very easy to make this card in the deck, and it's just a really good card overall. We then play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is easily made in this deck because we play so many different XZ monsters. And then finally play a single copy of SP Little Knight, because SP Little Knight belongs in basically every single extra deck, along with Typhon, because this card is just too easy to make. And it's really good to be able to make with your copy of Number 60, because you basically make Number 60, bring back a monster in the graveyard and link 60 and your copy of whatever monster brought back to your side of the field away, make SP, and then it's a double interruption, which is insane. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Dinomorphia before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's so insane to be able to play. And Rexstorm is such a powerful card to be able to make in this deck. And it's just absolutely amazing how easy it is to control the board with this deck. So, that's going to be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.